Riho is not going to beat a man.
You had to go ahead and say it. I was leaving it ambiguous.
She's got a dick and balls.
Oh no! This is an ever evolving story, so good luck keeping up with it because yeah, Gail Kim just won't shut up about it, and it just keeps going and going and going. And there we go. It is about Gail Kim criticizing Riho from AEW. Now, how did we get here? Let's do a little quick catch up here. Apparently, they're doing a documentary, I guess, on death matches, and there was a clip on Twitter that showed like a death match. No, not showing. We don't have it because it's not really important to where we're going with the conversation. But there was a spot on Twitter that kind of went viral. Gail Kim responded to it and said, like, this is just trash. And somehow, for whatever reason, in that, while she's responding to fans, one fan asked her thoughts on what Jim Cornette says about Asian wrestlers, Asian female wrestlers specifically. Again, don't know why that was even thrown out there, but Gail Kim, she asked for like examples, like show me what you're talking about because I don't know. And someone sends like a playlist to her of, first of all, some loser geek takes the time to create a whole playlist of every time Cornette talks about Riho.
Asians.
No, this specific one was about Riho. Every time Cornette mentions Riho, some fan has put a playlist together for this. Like, get a life, that person.
Well, no, that shit's entertaining. I can see why that's a playlist.
I haven't heard any of it, but I thought it was
Oh.
more of like, I mean, I can imagine.
It may
it
be,
being Jim
but
Cornette, but
I could see people doing it either way. Clipping as evidence or
yeah.
saving it for later.
So this is where we get into the juicy stuff. So that's the backstory. Gail Kim, she responds to the fan here, and she says, the only issue that I had was that he made a comment about her teeth. I will say, I haven't watched much AEW in a very long time, but when I did watch Riho, and nothing against her at all, because I'm the biggest supporter of all women who want to make it in this business. But I did feel uncomfortable watching her because the camera shots would go up her skirt and she was always dressed like a very little girl and it felt improper. That's part one of it. By the way, Rio is pushing 30, so this conversation is not weird. So that part of it, I can get what she's saying there. She dressed like an anime girl, if I'm being honest, and they don't just shoot up her skirt. You know, there's camera angles from the camera people. They know how to get people on board.
They know the assignment.
Yeah. So the clip she saw, I guess, was, you know, of Riho. So they were getting shots of Riho, and she looks like a little girl. So she's kind of suggesting that there's some stuff going on there. But again, Riho's almost in her 30s, so not weird. Anyway, I'm not judging. This is where it gets worse for Gail Kim. So she says, I am also into very believable wrestling. Not everyone is, especially nowadays. And it was very hard for me to believe that a little girl that was portrayed of that size was fighting the women they had in that division. To put into context, this is where it also gets worse. I find Io, Mia, that would be Mia Yim, Asuka, Kairi Sane, I don't know about Kairi Sane, and Lei Ying, which is formerly known as Xia Li, to be more believable, and I don't feel uncomfortable watching them. So that's what starts the storm here. So much to break down here. So, one, the examples she gave were all WWE talent, and Kyrie is kind of small, but the believability thing, that's what ticked everybody off the most, it seems. Like her saying that it's not believable that Riho is beating these women in AEW, which she's not even wrong, by the way. Like, if you've seen Riho, she is very small. So having these wrestling matches with women like Sasha Banks.
She's smaller than Alexa Bliss.
No, she's the same size as Alexa Bliss. Apparently, they're the same height, but she weighs like way less. I don't know if she weighs 100 pounds, to be honest. But I don't know. She's not off. When I'm watching Riho versus Nyla Rose, it is not believable that Riho is beating Nyla Rose. Do with that what you will. It's just not believable.
I guess I don't understand where Gail Kim's coming from with the believable wrestling shit. What kind of believable shit has Gail Kim done?
Well, I'm not the biggest on the Gail Kim catalog, but a lot of people were quick to jump on the fact that she had the feud with Awesome Kong, which you're so into believability. Where's the believability in that? Her beating Awesome Kong, which you remember was a very big, brooding woman.
Yes. Until she got to the WWE.
Well, she was big there too.
Yeah, but then she turned into a crybaby and then disappeared.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have went to WWE, if I'm being honest. But yeah, fans were quick to point out that there was that. Again, I'm not too big on the Gail Kim catalog as she was mainly in TNA, so I didn't get to watch a lot of her, but I can see that, yes, it wasn't believable for her also to beat Awesome Kong. So is she sounding like a hypocrite there? Maybe, maybe not.
I'd have to watch the feud. How did she beat her?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to watch the feud. Apparently, the TNA girls division was really good back then.
Yeah, but then you also had people bring up AJ Lee, as apparently she is the same height as Riho. Roxanne Perez, she's not the same height. She's smaller than both of them. Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Where's the believability in that?
Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax.
Liv Morgan being hardcore. Where's the believability in that? What was that match? She passed out laughing.
I think it was against Rousey.
Submission. Yeah, to the submission, and she's passing out.
She tried to do the Raven.
Yeah.
So stupid. It was stupid when Raven did it.
That's true. But the whole believability in wrestling, I can get it to an extent. Yes, you want it to be believable. Rusev having competitive matches against Tozawa, Gunther having competitive matches against Tozawa, never a believable thing.
Or McTurd.
Yeah, just like recently we had Rusev versus JD McDonough. That should have been a one-sided match.
Or what about when the Bronze took out Fraxium and Fraxium recovered and then they had a match.
A competitive match.
Which they shouldn't have been able to walk after the attack.
Yeah, there needs to be some believability. But there's also, some of the characters. Like, am I to believe that this man, his house burnt down while he was still in it as a kid? Now he's walking around alive and his face is burnt so bad that he has to wear a mask until he doesn't?
And his face is perfectly fine.
Or the Undertaker, whose gimmick was a dead man, especially at the beginning, is literally a dead man who followed around an urn and got his powers from the urn.
But then the urn went away, and turns out he didn't need the urn.
Turns out he didn't need it. But he did at that point when he first started. So there's believability, but then there's also, like, character-wise, there's believability. But I think as a whole, we let that slide a little bit more because we know they're characters. So that's a little bit more accepted. All around in wrestling, there's unbelievability, but I think the biggest one is, especially now when they're trying to make wrestling like more real, like when you see big size difference, you got to take that into account. And it doesn't look good when you have like big people losing to little people.
We have Juventud Guerrera Frankensteining Reese.
Yes, or Rey Mysterio beating Kevin Nash.
Ever.
So yeah, so that was what Gail Kim said. And then we move on a little bit here. Gail Kim, she goes back and forth with people. Again, this just kept going on and on and on. And she's going back and forth with people. Dave Meltzer's involved now, and myriad of other people were involved. Then we have Kenny Omega make an appearance. He chimes in on the whole situation. And he says, another day, another legend, in quotations, doing the splits on it for their yearly TKO gift basket, saying that Gail Kim is doing this only to get in the good graces of WWE, which, if I recall, I believe Gail Kim hates WWE. As a matter of fact, I believe she walked out on WWE the last time she was there. So
Well, she walked out on Vince. It's a new
she
era.
did. It's a new era.
It's a more wholesome era, full of surprises.
So yeah, maybe she is trying to get in the good graces. I don't think she is. I think someone suckered her in, and then she gave her real opinion. And yeah, people just got butthurt. How dare you? And a lot of people, especially Dave Meltzer, was bringing up, you don't know the bullying that she went through.
Who gives a shit?
The bullying she went through online
Oh,
about.
for fuck's sake.
I don't even know what it was. I guess about her looking like a child.
Then she shouldn't look like a child.
Well, she
Eat
can't
a
help
fucking
that.
steak.
You don't want her to get fat.
Drink some protein shakes. Lift some weights. Dress like a fucking adult. There's so many things you could do to not get criticized for looking like a little child.
Well, what I got out of it was she got bullied off of Twitter years ago, and she's not seeing any of this. So I guess good for her. But everybody else is still fighting for her sake. But again, I think ultimately it's fair criticism. Yeah, you said she should eat a steak or put on some weight. I just think she should be put in matches that are more believable.
I also want to see Gail Kim's catalog to see how believable her shit is. See if she's throwing stones from a glass house.
She probably is. Because again, the only feud I know from her is with Awesome Kong. But again, she spent most of her time in TNA, so I couldn't tell you too much. But apparently she was pretty good over in TNA. But she clapped back at Kenny Omega to close it out here. And she said, if you're trying to beat around the bush and misinterpret things like the rest of the Yahoos, let me clarify that you are wrong. And if you're not talking about me, I'll apologize. But with all the tribalistic crazies out yesterday misinterpreting things, I was, yes, assuming so. What is that even? That didn't even make sense. But she goes back at Kenny Omega. I'm sure there's more going on now.
Who cares?
Well, she's making it things like stop responding to people. But yeah, I guess ultimately, who cares? Either way.
They should bring up her celebrity chef husband.
Oh, they did.
Oh, good. Don't let him get away with it.
But yeah, I just think this whole thing kind of blew out of proportion. One fan tried to get some shit off, and he got it off successfully. He just came in there. What do you think about Riho?
People need to stop being so fucking reactionary. Just because Gail Kim said something doesn't mean you need to make it a big deal then. Kenny Omega wasn't even brought up. Why is he feeling the need to white knight for fucking Riho?
Well, Kenny Omega brought her into the company and all the other Joshis that are there. So I guess he's a little bit overprotective. Pimp. Yes. Like, hey, don't you be talking about my Riho like that.
It just makes him look stupid.
It makes him seem tribalistic too. But it's funny as people bringing up, oh, you don't know the bullying.
What does that have to do with Riho not being believable at her job?
Yeah, what does the bullying have to do with it?
And even Gail Kim said, when they brought up that playlist, he made fun of her teeth. I don't agree with that. But she sucks in the ring.
Yeah, I'm sure she got bullied, but...
She got bullied forever and a day ago, so now she's absolved from all criticism for the rest of her life?
I guess so. But yeah, that's the Riho story. All in all, it's probably ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that it's gotten to the point where it's gotten. It's such a big deal. And to hammer home the point, I think that Gail Kim is actually correct on where she stands in the fact that Riho is not believable against these women that she's facing. You're never going to convince me that Riho is going to out wrestle Nyla Rose. Again, do with that what you will.